You're hell of your league, Ant-Man.
Hey, welcome to ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy. So, we know that Kang the Conqueror is the big bad of the multiverse saga. Loki established him as the biggest threat to the entire multiverse. But what kind of villain is Kang going to be? Now, we all know what makes for a great MCU villain. An interesting story, great acting, menacing presence, and of course, a compelling motivation. One of my worries for Kang right now is that the MCU already created a much more interesting version of Kang, and that's He Who Remains.
I weaponized Goliath, and I ended the multiversal war.
But luckily, Loki sets up a great story for Kang, and if Marvel realizes its potential, then Kang could really be something special. And since Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is introducing Kang in the MCU, that's the movie that should establish his motivations. So here's how Kang could be one of the best and most compelling villains the MCU has ever had.
If you think I'm evil, just wait till you meet my variants.
According to He Who Remains, Kang is the biggest threat to reality and he's going to start a multiversal war. Loki also gives us an indication of how powerful Kang is going to be. He Who Remains had access to tech that makes Iron Man look like a caveman.
I'm going to allow that.
He had control over the timeline. He could travel the multiverse. He knew everything that would happen and he created the TVA, which was located in a reality that nerfed the Infinity Stones.
Some of the guys use them as paperweights.
So imagine just how terrifying and powerful Kang is going to be. Considering that Kang's statue is now decorated in the TVA, they are under his control, meaning that Kang is now as powerful as He Who Remains. The difference is that He Who Remains tried to preserve the timeline. Kang wants to conquer the multiverse and start a war. And based on the Comic-Con trailer for Quantumania that came out a few months ago, he's already fought the Avengers from the other universes. That trailer ended with Scott saying that he's an Avenger and that Kang is messing with the wrong guy. But Kang simply responded by saying, "You are an Avenger? Have I killed you before?" So yeah, that means that not only has he faced variants of the Avengers, but he's actually killed them. Meaning that Kang has been through so many different universes and fought so many Avengers that at this point, he can kill them with his eyes closed.
Ooh, a swing and a miss.
But being really powerful is not the most interesting character trait, as we all know. It's impressive that Kang is a more dangerous villain than Thanos, especially since that underneath all his tech, he's just a normal human with no special powers.
I'm Batman.
But none of that matters if Kang is not an interesting character with compelling motivations. It doesn't mean that Kang needs to be a sympathetic villain, but he needs a reason that makes us care and understand why he wants to conquer the multiverse. And Loki set up the perfect story for Kang. So, long ago, the multiverse existed in complete chaos. In the 31st century, the many variants of Nathaniel Richards discovered the multiverse. Some of them worked together for the betterment of the universe, but others decide to wage a multiversal war. And the variant that started this war is Kang.
Each variant fighting to preserve their universe and annihilate the others.
Now, the Kang War almost destroyed reality, but then He Who Remains put an end to the war. He found a big vape dog in the tears between universes and used the monster to erase all of his variants and their universes.
Let the pig dog eat.
Then he created the Sacred Timeline, a universe that was fully under his control. And for eons, He Who Remains and the TVA enforced the Sacred Timeline to make sure that it won't branch off into the multiverse and lead to another Kang War. To save the multiverse from collapsing, he committed genocide on a scale that we can't even begin to fathom. He Who Remains considered himself the savior of the multiverse. Naturally, Kang is going to see it very differently.
You sit on a throne of lies.
So here's how I would go about Kang's origins. I'm pulling inspiration from the comics, the animated series, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and oddly enough, The Wrath of Khan.
Wait, Wrath of Khan from Star Trek?
Yes, the true fans will get it. Kang was a scientist from the 31st century called Nathaniel Richards. He discovered the multiverse, and at first he worked with the other variants to make their universes better. But he witnessed the chaotic nature of the multiverse and predicted the multiversal war. And he knew that his other variants are likely to have the same realization that he did, meaning that it's only a matter of time before one of them will make a move to attack the others. So he saw no other choice but to conquer the multiverse, believing it was the only way to guarantee everlasting peace. But before Kang could achieve that, he decided to conquer the whole universe, since he needed a united empire that will allow him to achieve this multiversal conquest. He saw himself as a benevolent ruler who forced peace on his universe.
Absolute ruler of more than a quarter of your world.
He was the best of the tyrants, and the most dangerous.
Though he's still a tyrant nonetheless.
One man would have ruled eventually. We offered the world
Order!
Once he created a universal empire, Kang started the multiversal war. And you know the rest. The multiverse almost ended, and He Who Remains erased all of his variants and created the sacred timeline. But just imagine the horror of seeing Alioth devouring your whole universe. It's like witnessing the snap, only this time everyone turns to dust. And the whole fabric of the universe is eaten by a giant multiversal dog. Everyone he knew, everyone he might have loved, his whole universe vanished right in front of his eyes. When Alioth consumed his universe, Kang lost the only person he ever cared for, the woman that he loves. And here's the thing about Kang in the comics. For a while, he had a really strange love story with a princess from the 40th century, and her name is Ravonna Renslayer.
Wait, she was in Loki, right?
That's right, just like Ravonna Renslayer from the show. The MCU changed her story a bit, but there's clearly something there between He Who Remains and Ravonna.
Someone created the Timekeepers. They created this whole place. They gave us all purpose. I have to believe they had a reason.
She basically worships him like a god, but he did give her some secret mission via Ms. Minutes. And that mission might connect to Kang. In the comics, it took Ravonna a while before she actually loved Kang, but that's when she died. Kang refused to accept that he lost Ravonna, so he kept trying to bring her back.
I'll save you, my love. I'll save our entire timeline, even if I have to conquer this time to do it.
So back to our pitch. In Kang's original universe, he and Ravonna were married, and she was the only person that he actually cared for. When He Who Remains unleashed Alioth on the multiverse, Kang saw the creature devouring whole realities. He understood that he must escape so he could fight another day. But it was too late for his empire and for Ravonna. Kang had to watch as his wife was consumed by Alioth. Now that is one hell of a motivation for a great villain.
I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet, buried alive.
Kang escaped to the only place where he was safe from He Who Remains, hidden right under his nose. Literally, he hid in the quantum realm. Kang arrived in the realm when Janet Van Dyne was stuck there. This shot from the trailer is most likely a flashback to Kang's arrival.
So why did Kang hide in the quantum realm?
Well, that's because the quantum realm is described as a separate universe. It's one of the realities that were part of the sacred timeline. Time and space are irrelevant in this realm. Everything is unpredictable inside the quantum realm, so even He Who Remains couldn't see Kang. Don't forget, the Avengers used this realm for time travel, and we believe that the quantum realm can also be used for multiversal travel. This will make a lot of sense because Kang is there, and he's the big baddie of the multiversal saga, and Quantumania is the movie that introduces him.
It all fits.
Kang and Janet probably worked together on escaping the realm, but considering Janet's reaction here,
You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now!
I'm assuming that Janet realized what Kang's plans are for the multiverse, and she's the reason why he's stuck in the realm. She might have trapped him in one of those time vortexes.
And don't get sucked into a time vortex. We won't be able to save you.
The CCXP footage revealed that Kang needs Ant-Man's help to escape the realm, and we actually made a theory about that in this video.
Well, how does all this connect to Kang's motivation?
Well, I'm imagining a powerful scene that we could see in Quantumania, where Kang explains these motivations to Scott. He talks about the snap and how Scott lost hope, but for Scott, those 5 years were only 5 hours, and the Avengers brought everyone back shortly after. Then, Kang tells Scott to try and imagine losing the woman he loved and knowing that no matter what, there was no way of bringing her back. He had to witness his whole reality vanish from existence. And then he was trapped in the quantum realm for eons, and he's the only one who could stop it all from happening again. All of this is Kang's way of saying that he and the Avengers are on the same side. He is the hero the multiverse needs, so Scott and everyone else should work with him.
We want the same thing.
My friend, I'm sorry, but we do not.
Naturally, the Avengers won't side with Kang given his plans to conquer the multiverse, so Kang will have no choice but to kill them since he cannot let them stand in his way. He must stop his variant from creating the sacred timeline again.
You plunge your blade in my chest and an infinite amount of me start another multiversal war.
And eventually he will be reborn and everything will repeat itself, meaning that the universe is stuck in an endless loop, and Kang is predestined to lose over and over again. More importantly, he's destined to lose Ravonna all over again. So Kang is trying to change his destiny. This is fitting. One of the fundamentals of Kang's story in the comics is that he's obsessed with changing his destiny. He constantly tries to prevent his future since he's destined to become his future self, Immortus, the main inspiration for He Who Remains. Now in the MCU, Kang's motivation is to prevent He Who Remains from creating the sacred timeline again. He sees himself as the hero who will prevent another multiversal purging. Kang sees that the only way to ensure that the multiverse won't be destroyed by war is if he wins and rules every reality. He conquered his universe and created a united united empire. Now, of course, there was no freedom in his universe, but that's the lie that tyrants tell themselves and their people, that their oppressive protection is the only way to achieve true peace.
I have brought peace, freedom, justice, and security to my new empire.
In his mind, a totalitarian multiversal empire is a much better option than the sacred timeline, so he will start the multiversal war and conquer every universe. In his obsession to save the multiverse, Kang becomes the very thing that he hates. Countless will still die and the rest will be oppressed under his thumb. He does all of this for the chance to one day be reunited with Ravonna and save her from a predestined death. So Kang's arch nemesis is He Who Remains, which makes the Avengers sort of the third wheel of this whole conflict. But of course, the villain must have some personal conflict with the hero. Loki had a brotherly rivalry with Thor. Ultron was a dark mirror of Tony Stark. Zemo blamed the Avengers for the death of his family. Killmonger wanted revenge on the entire world. Thanos was different because he didn't have a personal feud with the Avengers. The only real personal connection he had was with Gamora and Nebula. The Avengers simply stood in his way. So that is similar to Kang's relationship with the Avengers. He truly believes in his crusade. He cannot watch his reality and Ravonna vanish again. But what makes this interesting is that the Avengers will also want to prevent the sacred timeline, because they cannot allow He Who Remains to commit this multiversal genocide. And that is a fresh direction in the MCU. Usually the villains have an evil plan and the heroes just need to stop them. But with this direction, both the heroes and Kang are working toward the same goal, only in two very different ways.
You need me to save you! I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
So that's what we think should motivate Kang. This will make him a really interesting villain with understandable goals. But what do you guys think about all this? What do you think Kang's plan is? What do you think his motivation could be? Let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.